All right. Good afternoon, Kaapelitehdas. And next we will start the track on something which matters most, i.e. health. And it's my great pleasure to introduce Orna Berry, who has Wikipedia which is longer than my crime list. However, she told that it's not yet been updated to the recent accomplishments. But Orna, before we start your keynote on your journey, your intimate journey with the cancer, I have two questions to kick in. First of all, you are a true pioneer in so many senses. You have accomplished as a first female quite a few things. What would be the one advice you would like to give the nowadays present ladies in business, female founders?
I recommend to focus on the mission and to go straight to perform the mission rather than on listening to a lot of advice. Be sufficiently proficient in what you do and go straight to your mission.
So it would be like Finnish conversation, straight to the point.
That's perfectly all right.
And I have a second question, that you have so many accomplishments and awards along the way. What do you consider your biggest accomplishment so far?
The biggest accomplishment was establishing the industrial tech park in Be'er Sheva. This was basically a beginning of a high technology park near the university, the hospital, the train station, providing employment, high-paying employment, high-skilled employment in the periphery. And from my perspective, being able to do something globally and in an extended form is most important.
So in other words, you help to build a technology empire middle of nowhere.
In other words, I made myself happy in succeeding to do that.
All right, I'm not going to take more of your time. Please give a warm welcome to Orna. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so in couple of words, you know, it's my intimate relationship with cancer, but it is also a recommendation. The recommendation is run for your life, meaning that if you find that you're in a situation that nobody is solving for you, solve it yourself. And of course, since I'm a computer scientist and not a medical doctor, I needed to team up with medical doctors. Several of them, until I focused with one expert and one doctor on what I will tell you shortly. But the other aspect of it that is very entrepreneurial is the fact that the diagnosis that gave me 3 to 5 months to live 7.5 years ago turned into viable research, clinical and innovative, and that is the entrepreneurship side that never really dies. So what I'm telling you, and the question that I had here, is never give up. And the reason why I'm saying that is basically I was given a diagnosis about the short time left for my life on a Thursday night. And the following afternoon, I talked with my management. I was running an American company in Israel, and they asked me if I want to go on a leave of absence. And I told them no, because exactly of my achievement and the site in Be'er Sheva and the fact that my company, EMC, was being acquired by Dell, and I was afraid that in the process they will close the site in Beersheba, which was very strategic, not only for our company, but it was very strategic for the country in establishing a new region of technology. Basically, I continued to drive. I don't know in retrospect whether the adrenaline of driving the discoveries myself together with my doctor, or else just being lucky, but truly this was a disease that the chances of survival were below 15%. And in the research, within pretty much a week, we came across, in addition to the chemotherapy and radiation, of a biological drug, and a statement that this drug, which my insurer didn't want to give it to me because it didn't cost that much, but it wasn't in their must-do list, then I turned to a doctor. Unfortunately, she is now deceased from cancer, and basically she encouraged me on an ethical level. And this discussion about the ethical level, that if somebody is turning into a very fragile situation, and there is a drug that can increase the survival by 5 to 15%, they need to be given the drug. And on that moral basis, I went myself in front of the exemption committee of the HMO. They asked me, why didn't my doctor come? I told them, my doctor is not insured by you. My doctor wrote you a letter. Other doctors wrote you a letter. I came here because I'm going to live. So eventually, I demonstrated that you see the blue line, and you see the decrease in the blue line. The blue line is a biological marker that was decreasing with the treatment of this biological treatment. And by that I proved that this is life-saving. Life-saving already brought me into the region that the HMO needed to give me the drug. So I got the drug. 7.5 years later, I'm talking to you here on stage. I was very happy with my family. Those are my children. There are other pictures of my grandchildren as well. Life is great, worth living, not only for my children, but also for my friends and my co-workers. But this was definitely an achievement that initially this picture is from about 1.5 years after the decision to add that drug, when I was still receiving treatment. But eventually, I'm alive, I'm working, and I'm active and very happy to be above ground. So, in addition to the fact that I had to deal with cancer, I also had to deal with the insurance. I also had to manage a project that is my own life. And I actually used my computer science background, and I basically took some articles, specifically an article that was published in Australia about what I should prioritize. And why prioritization? I had 7 different tumors. The most aggressive one was taken out of the uterus. but the ones that I had in the ovaries, and I had 3 of them, were the most expendable ones, and I knew that if I get metastasis during chemo, there won't be a chemo to treat those metastases. So the focus of the decision of taking the Avastin, which is the 5 to 15% chance of succeeding, was based on an article that I read from Australia, together with the data that I showed you, that actually this was successful in reducing the level of the biomarker attached with the cancer. And my doctor, who was patient enough to do those consultations with me after I reduced the amount of data with experts globally. So, as I said, and until today, there is no diagnosis for ovarian cancer in early stages. And I work with a team in the Rambam Hospital near Haifa on actually creating an early detection. The consultation, I did not bring any medical background into the consultation. I brought my desire to live, and I brought data, and I cleaned the data so it's relevant and the doctors can make decisions based on the data. And the treatment that I got was the conventional protocol of chemotherapy and radiation, plus the Avastin that at the time, which was early 2016, was allowed to be used for ovarian cancer by the FDA, but was not yet recommended. It was recommended only in June of 2018. And this is almost before the patent for the Avastin expired in 2019. And I have my own opinion about the fact that the proofs for women cancer, solid tumors, were delayed because of sex issues, but that remains for another talk, which I will give in Sydney at late July. So basically, what made us successful is luck. And in addition to luck, it was interdisciplinary research and treatment. It was the fact that very quickly I understood that I have to live with uncertainty, and uncertainty needs to be factored out when I discuss science with the doctors, so they don't throw me out the room, and they continue to work with me. It was very, very important for me as a patient to also take the job of managing the disease. And it makes it easier on me to work in Google Cloud today on recommendation engines for doctors. With all the discussions about artificial intelligence, I am a proponent of human values and human judgment. I will never ask a robot in the operating room to be responsible for its doing. I think the doctors operating it, they have to be responsible. And this is a very important collaboration of multidisciplines. It's about medicine. It's about laboratory activities. It's about data activities. And the result is phenomenal. What I've been busy, at least in 50% of my time, is actually replicating and scaling this experience in order to make it accessible to other women with similar type cancers, and also to embed it in medicine as a practice in general. So for the core of it, this is what I have to say, and this is me before and after the treatments. And what I will tell you in addition in the rest of the time, what I do now in the two projects that I'm involved in. One is a clinical project in the Sheba Medical Center in gynecology. There we took the information about treatments of patients in the last 11 years, 1,500 patients. We actually needed, in order to clean the data, we needed 4 medical students to work for 6 months because the electronic medical records, people fill in the information in a way that is administrative. It's an added work for the doctors and the nurses to fill in the information, and consequently the information is not always accurate. So many times we found that a treatment started before a diagnosis was made, which is really impossible. So we had those students clean the data and take the text and the register data, make it available. At this point, we have clean data. We have also a need to augment the data in order to have what is called big data, and we're in collaboration with other hospitals, predominantly in the United States, but also in Europe. For the other hospital, we picked 130 biomarkers. That's for early detection. We reduced the number of biomarkers to 30 because we did the statistical correlations and we exempted those that are replicated. And by now, we hope to go into a process of clinical trials in the United States. Thank you. I think I'm surprising the people that we finished on time, so we can make decisions here in
All right, thank you so much for the fascinating presentation. Even though we are in Finland, let's do something brave and ask if there would be any questions from the audience. It seems that it's too early for that.
It seems that we're in Finland.
We are in Finland, unfortunately. But I have one question for you. After going through all of this, what do you consider being the meaning of the life?
Family.
That was... there's one question.
Thank you, Orna. My question would be, have you seen any very promising solutions to the pre-diagnostic tools for cancer? And where are these really promising ones happening?
Great question.
Okay. There are several early diagnosis, but neither pancreatic cancer nor ovarian cancer has early detection. And there are some that are trying to use the serum, namely the blood, but certain, like the ovaries, are very small and have very little blood circulation. So this is not the way to go for them. You need to consider the immune system, and you need to take the sampling close to the immune system of the organ. And that is what the project that we're doing at the Rambam Hospital, that we hope that by the end of the year, we'll go and extend it in clinical trials in the United States.
And let's still give warm applause for the Orna for the great keynote speech. Thank you.